All right, let's dive deeper into the latest developments involving Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, two central figures in the 2024 U.S. presidential race, and how their campaigns are shaping up amidst controversies and heated political debates. Accusations against Iran. Let's start with the Trump campaign, which recently made headlines by accusing Iran of hacking into its internal communications. According to the campaign, some of its sensitive internal documents were illegally obtained by foreign actors, and they're pointing the finger squarely at Iran. Now, to understand the gravity of these allegations, we need to consider the history between Donald Trump and Iran. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. During his time in office, Trump took a particularly hardline stance against Iran. Two major events stand out. First, the U.S. withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal, which was a cornerstone of international diplomacy aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear capabilities. Trump argued that the deal was flawed and that it didn't do enough to prevent Iran from pursuing nuclear weapons. Second, the U.S. drone strike in 2020 that killed Qasem Soleimani, a top Iranian military commander. This action significantly escalated tensions between the U.S. and Iran, leading to threats of retaliation from Tehran. Given this history, it's not surprising that the Trump campaign would suspect Iran of trying to interfere with the 2024 election. According to a report by Politico, the campaign started receiving emails from an anonymous source back in July. These emails contained what appeared to be authentic documents from within Trump's campaign, including a report on Jay Dance, Trump's running mate, highlighting his potential vulnerabilities. The Trump campaign quickly labeled this as an illegal operation by foreign entities, specifically Iran, aimed at disrupting the democratic process in the United States. Trump himself took to his social media platform, Truth Social, to address the situation. He claimed that Microsoft had notified his campaign that Iranian hackers had breached one of their websites. However, he downplayed the impact by stating that the hackers only access publicly available information. This raises questions about the extent of the breach and whether the Trump campaign is trying to control the narrative by minimizing the damage. While Trump's accusations are serious, it's important to note that there's no independent verification yet of who exactly carried out the hack or what their motives were. The Trump campaign referred to a report by Microsoft researchers, which indicated that Iranian government-linked hackers had attempted to break into the account of a high-ranking official in a U.S. presidential campaign back in June. According to the report, these hackers managed to take over the account of a former political advisor and then used it to target this official. However, the report was vague on the specifics, not naming the targeted individuals or providing much detail about the extent of the breach. In response to these allegations, Iran's government has categorically denied any involvement. Iran's permanent mission to the United Nations issued a statement asserting that the Iranian government has neither the intention nor the motivation to interfere in the U.S. presidential election. They described their cyber capabilities as defensive, designed only to respond to threats against Iran, and dismissed the Trump campaign's accusations as unfounded. This situation highlights the broader issue of cyber threats in modern elections. In recent years, there's been growing concern about the role of foreign governments in trying to influence U.S. elections through hacking and disinformation campaigns. The Trump campaign's allegations against Iran, whether substantiated or not, add to the already tense atmosphere as the 2024 election approaches. The stakes are high, and both sides are likely to use every tool at their disposal to sway public opinion. Kamala Harris faces protests and criticism amid campaign. Switching over to the Democratic side, Kamala Harris has also been in the spotlight recently, but for different reasons as she continues to campaign across the country. Harris has been facing increasing pressure from various groups, particularly pro-Palestine activists. During a recent rally in Glendale, Arizona, Harris encountered a large group of protesters who were demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. The protesters were vocal, chanting free Palestine, and making it clear that they wanted Harris to take a stronger stance on the issue. In her response, Harris acknowledged the protesters' concerns, stating that she and President Biden are working tirelessly to secure a ceasefire and negotiate the release of hostages. This is a delicate issue as the U.S. has been a staunch supporter of Israel, but there is growing pressure both domestically and internationally for a ceasefire as the conflict in Gaza continues to escalate. The Biden administration recently announced an additional $3.05 billion in military aid to Israel. move that has sparked controversy and criticism, particularly from those who are concerned about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Harris's response to the protesters was measured, but it's clear that this is a contentious issue that could impact her campaign. While she tried to refocus the rally on the 2024 election, the protesters' demands highlight the deep divisions within the Democratic Party over U.S. policy towards Israel and Palestine. Harris has been walking a fine line trying to balance her support for Israel with the growing calls for a more balanced approach that addresses the humanitarian concerns in Gaza. But the challenges don't stop there for Harris. She has also been facing renewed scrutiny over her stance on immigration, an issue that has been a focal point of Republican attacks. During her time as vice president, Harris was tasked by President Biden with addressing the root causes of migration from Central America, a role that earned her the label of border czar from her critics. Republicans have used this to attack her, blaming her for the ongoing challenges at the U.S.-Mexico border. In a recent rally in Las Vegas, Harris took a more aggressive stance, highlighting her record as California's Attorney General, where she went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers. She emphasized that she understands the problems with the immigration system and knows how to fix them. Harris is pushing for comprehensive immigration reform that includes both strong border security and a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. She contrasted her approach with Trump's, accusing him of talking a big game about border security but failing to deliver real solutions. Harris's focus on immigration is part of a broader strategy to counter Republican attacks and position herself as a tough, capable leader who can handle the complexities of border security. She's also proposed raising the minimum wage and eliminating taxes on tips for service workers, a policy that Trump had previously proposed. This has led to some back and forth between the two candidates, with Trump accusing Harris of copying his ideas. As Harris continues to campaign, she's likely to face more protests and criticism, especially on hot-button issues like immigration and U.S. foreign policy. Her ability to navigate these challenges will be crucial as she tries to build momentum ahead of the 2024 election. The bigger picture. Both Trump and Harris are gearing up for what is shaping up to be a highly contentious and closely watched election. The hacking allegations against Iran add another layer of complexity to Trump's campaign. While Harris's challenges on the campaign trail highlight the divisions within the Democratic Party and the broader electorate for Trump, the focus will likely remain on national security, immigration, and his ongoing battles with foreign adversaries. He's trying to paint a picture of himself as the only candidate who can protect America from external threats and restore order at home. On the other hand, Harris is trying to position herself as a strong leader who can tackle tough issues like immigration and foreign policy, while also addressing the concerns of progressive voters who are demanding change. As the 2024 election draws closer, these narratives will continue to evolve. Both candidates will need to navigate a complex political landscape where every move is scrutinized and every word is analyzed. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the outcome of this election will have far-reaching implications for the future of the United States. Stay tuned as we continue to follow these developments and break down what they mean for the 2024 race.